Make a great product in the Vio. It's so good that it's what we looked at when we wanted to make a sexy portable.
The most stunning of these is this new Sony HDV camcorder. It is the world's first prosumer HDV camcorder, and it sells for just $34.99. And I've got one here. It is just absolutely stunning video. I've been playing around with this for a month, and you just got to go get one of these. It's great. And the company behind this, as always, of course, is Sony. They're the best video company in the world. And, you know, we compete with Sony in a friendly way in computers and in music and a few other things. But we cooperate with Sony, too. We started using their 3.5-inch floppy disk in the original Mac. And we do a lot of stuff with Sony. And it is my great pleasure now to actually welcome the president of Sony, Kunitake Ando, on stage to talk about the collaboration between Sony and Apple to make this the year of high-definition video.
You know, it's very exciting to see just real Steve Jobs making presentation at the Macworld. Also, some of you may be surprised to see me here at the Macworld, right? But as Steve explained, that Sony and Apple have had a very long, close relationship for many, many years. So, and I have a great admiration, respect to Apple products for hardware as well as software. And I know that Steve openly said that he's a great fan of Sony products. Not all of them, but I'm sure most of them.
As I said, we admire Sony. We love Sony. We aspire to be as good as they are.
Before we get started, I just wanted to mention something. One of the great inspirations to me and a lot of the folks at Apple was Akio Morita at Sony. He passed away this Sunday at the age of 78. And while he was leading Sony, they invented the whole consumer electronics marketplace. First transistor radio, Trinitron television, first consumer VCR, Walkman, audio CD. The innovation that they brought to the marketplace was staggering. And as he expressed his love for his fellow species through his products and his company, we've certainly been very inspired by it. And I hope that some of the things that we're going to be doing today would make him smile. You know, we do work very closely with Sony on digital still cameras and these new camcorders, which is really great. And who knows, maybe someday computers and music too. Take a second. We're going to the New York Times site right now. So this is the New York Times for today. And here we are. You can see that. And we can actually review this site if we want to. So I can say review this site, and I get this. You know, is it a dud, ho-hum, good, very good? I think it's outstanding. I love the New York Times. You can write a summary. You can fill out a few other things, and you can just submit your review. I'm going to go get another one. This one takes a while to load, but it's the New York Times. It's a great website. So I type NYT, which I know is New York Times. I like to go read the New York Times online. I can go to the New York Times. Right. So let's go to the web. And here we are. I'm going to load in, rather than apple.com here, a little more universal site. I'm going to load in the New York Times. It's kind of a slow site because it's got a lot of images, but here we are loading it. We're loading it over Wi-Fi right now. I love the New York Times. Let's go see what they've got here. So let's go ahead and go to the New York Times. It's a fun website to go to because it's everybody's very recognizable. And here we are, loading in the New York Times. It's a very complicated web page. One of the smartest journalists in our business is a guy named Walt Mossberg, somebody I admire, because he cares about the same things we do. And even Walt, a few weeks ago, said, the PC, which has carried the digital revolution for 24 years, has matured into something boring. That hurt. But Walt's really smart, and we listen to him very carefully. And one of my favorites, Walt Mossberg in the Wall Street Journal. I have been testing a Nano for the past few days, and I am smitten. The new iBook is the lightest, smallest, full-featured consumer portable I've seen. Walt Mossberg, the Wall Street Journal. Walt Mossberg, one of the tougher critics out there, said recently, no desktop offered by Dell or HP or Sony or Gateway can match the new iMac G5's combination of power, elegance, simplicity,
ease of use, built-in software, and security. And then he summed it all up when he said, it's the gold standard of desktop PCs. And finally, Walt Mossberg. Walt's probably the toughest critic to please. And we were stunned when he wrote this and very, very honored. I'm writing these words on the most elegant desktop computer I've ever used, a computer that is not only uncommonly beautiful, but fast and powerful, virus-free, and surprisingly affordable. That's Walt Mossberg. In my view, Leopard is better and faster than Vista. Walt Mossberg, a man of few words. And finally, Walt Mossberg, it leaves Windows XP in the dust. So,
here's Walt Mossberg from the Wall Street Journal, who said it in 3 lines. Right? I'm writing these words on the most elegant desktop computer I've ever used, a computer that is not only uncommonly beautiful, but fast and powerful, virus-free, and surprisingly affordable.
And as usual, Walt Mossberg said it best, the best and most advanced personal computer operating system. And let's say I'm getting hungry. It's late at night, and I want to go out to dinner. I can type in sushi, let's say, and it will go find everything having to do with sushi in the yellow pages. And let's see, the conversation was what? Hey, Steve, hi. Still on for dinner tonight? Absolutely. Your turn to pick. I've picked sushi raw. How about 7 o'clock tonight?
With yellow pages, again, I've got my zip code in here, and you know, after the keynote, I'd like to go get some sushi. So I type in sushi, and what it's done is it's found every sushi restaurant sorted by distance nearby here.
Keynote, we want to get some sushi. And we can click on any of these things, and it will give us MapQuest directions.